Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
You're a really dull class.
We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring.
Biden crime family.
Why, you're getting nervous, man.
How dare you?
And Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys.
You're wrong. Puerto Rico.
I will never apologize for standing up for an LBT. I intend to resign as party leader. LGBTQ2 plus kids' rights.
You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
As prime minister. The level of admiration I actually have for China.
Oh, son of a...
But he called her a third-rate politician. He said there are communists involved and you guys might like that.
Good morning. Sunday morning.
Shut up, silly woman. America will never be a socialist country.
Oh, I'm in trouble.
America was founded on liberty and independence and not government coercion, domination, and control.
To collapse the liberal international order. He is the smartest man I know. You know the thing.
It's the Donald! Oh my God!
No, but it's not about, I know.
Everybody's always blaming me for everything.
Called the wrap-up smear.
It's estimated that 200 million people have died, probably by the time I finish this talk.
Please clap.
All right. First we clap, but now we also got to go woo, woo. Chat, I expect you to be doing this too. Shout out Jake. He knows my favorite sticker in all of YouTube is the controller woot. Appreciate it. Such a good way to start the stream. We have all of the tabs. Also, sorry, Cornboy, let me get chat off your face. Chat, geez, buy him dinner first at least.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. No, actually, I was going to say, I should have pulled that one. That would have been a little masturbatory. All right. We know everyone, right? Hayden in the flesh. Absolute pleasure to have him here. Isaac, gay as ever. Cornboy. God, I'm so jealous of that beard. And Yo Pops might stop by. I know. Yo Pops can... He's Asian. Asians aren't supposed to be able to grow facial hair. He has hair on his cheeks. I can't even get hair here. He's got hair right up here. How do you guys do it? I'm so jealous. That counts as all your intros. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the classic Cornboy. The reason he is here originally, I'm like, Cornboy always dropping them red thumbs up. I appreciate it so much. I want to get him on. And then he went on Isaac's. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, he's on my show now. And now... I think you guys made it official. You guys finally push your guys' heads together, and he's official co-host now, it sounded like.
Yeah, he's on every week, and I appreciate it very much.
I'll be there.
So, Golden Age podcast going strong. So
I'd like to see. So, guys, we need to get him to, I think, 1,000 subscribers so he can raid into my stream.
Yeah, well, I thought you were going to say off the hip on Monday nights are scheduled. That too, I guess. Whatever.
I'm not worried about that. ABF is a traitor. He betrayed me in the first stream ever. He finally had to call off. That son of a gun. We all miss him. We all miss him. Who's gonna play my videos for him? Isaac's playing my videos for me. All right.
I guess so.
We have, I thought, 50 tabs. I counted out 10 and then made my fingers go like that and then very, very accurately went like that. I think it's like 60 plus. So let's get right into it.
The night is young. We've got a lot to do.
For now. So we're starting off with how, well, if you're one of those people who likes to put in the comments, you get what you vote for. Those idiots in LA, they're so dumb. Well, these LA riots are coming to a city near you. Fuck. I live near one of those idiot cities. Fuck. Dang it. Thankfully, my county is super based, and they will shoot you if you try that crap around here. So, hopefully, they handled when I was delivering pizzas, I delivered to the people who, the SWAT dudes who were staged to handle. They were going to go do a protest at the local mall.
Yes.
They're going to liberate some shoes from the oppressors. And when I delivered pizzas to them, I was walking over like badass guns. They were everywhere. They had the coolest fucking gear. And then one of them was like, "Oh, make sure the snipers get some pizza." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not too worried about BLM happening, and I don't believe we're gonna have too many ICE protests in my county, thankfully."
Well, I'll say this: even Dallas, they were having a couple of protests popping off in Dallas the other day. Dallas is a deep blue city, but after 2020, we had our governor come in and go, "Yep, nope, you're not doing this shit." And they had a couple of judges try to stop it, but the Dallas protests that happened this last weekend, they shut it down pretty quick.
And then the mayor left the Democrat Party. How odd.
Yeah, kind of crazy.
Oh, wait, really? Of Dallas?
Yeah.
Okay, because everyone knows Austin's big old like liberal shortland, but it's like a Portland, Seattle situation with Dallas and Austin. So that's pretty wild. We will be discussing it, but Bass went ahead and put a curfew on it already to stop them protests. We'll see if it actually happens.
Just started. I'm curious to see if that actually went into effect or not.
I was not expecting that, and of course we have one of the places that actually originally popped off was in New York, and we got people going into Trump Tower. You guys were covering it before this. They had other nonsense going on. So definitely New York, definitely Chicago, definitely LA. And then we got this lovely gentleman, Mark Ruffalo, Disney's Avengers star. Yeah, that's not how I would describe him.
Star is kind of an overstatement, but all right.
Yeah, I just
back
like
bit player.
Yeah, I got like more of a 3-letter word I was thinking.
I almost used the F word.
Mark Ruffalo on Blue Sky. Turning the military directly on American citizens on U.S. soil is unconstitutional. I'm a giant communist, but I totes care about the Constitution. This is not an insurrection. These are peaceful civil disobedience protests. Beep, beep, beep. They're treating our National Guard like trash. We totes care about the military, guys. June 14th is No King's Day. Find a protest in your city. This weekend is where they're going to try to pop off and have their fascist, terrorist, insurrection, Civil War 2.0. Hayden, start us off. You think they're going to be successful getting these going?
Well, based on what we've seen more and more protests popping up since this last weekend, since it's started off. But I also think that if there are any violent protests that happen on June 14th, Mark Ruffalo is immediately guilty of inciting a violent riot, and he should be arrested if that's the case.
And I don't even know if that's among my 69 tabs or not, but Gavin Newsom is literally, arrest me, bro. Arrest me. Do it. You won't do it. You won't do it. And we will discuss whether or not he should do
Trump
it.
didn't even call me.
I saw that. I don't even have that. There's I could have 100 tabs and not cover it all.
Trump showing the receipts. He's got the receipts. So.
And we all know what the Democrats are saying. Our boy, Yo Pops, hopefully gets a chance to pop in. Dude is wore out. He has been having a time because he has been going viral, covering the LA riots. He was right there by Dave's Donuts, that intersection with all that fun.
Now it's called Nathan's because Dave retired, man.
No, wait, what? Is that a joke I missed? Cheech and Chong?
No, he actually did retire and sold it. It's Nathan's now.
But doesn't it say Dave's Donuts on the thing?
It says Nathan's now.
Dale's Donuts.
Dale's Donuts. That's what I mean. Dale's Donuts.
No, but I saw this live just with Yo Pops. He had like 300 something subs. I watched it live. Tick, 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 tick. 3,000 live viewers. The sub count's going up 100 a minute. It was awesome. It was awesome.
He was out there in the shit though. Like I was worried about him.
Yeah,
dude. That's my boy. I was worried about him.
Hell yeah.
For a little while.
Took a canister to the
pop,
dome.
pop the whole time. How do you not know, or how do you know what is gunshots and what's just fireworks and what's just 40 millimeter riot control grenades?
He did catch a couple of cars getting caught on fire though, like live on camera.
About to say they were just standing around watching cars burn.
They were just having fun.
Speaking of standing around watching cars burn, we will get Yo Pops on here as soon as his camera loads. He is mobile at the moment. There we go. We're one step of the way there. If you have not subscribed to him, YouTube loves it when you suddenly get a ton of subscribers out of nowhere. Let's see if he's here. Yo Pops.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. The media is already referring to him as the straight Andy No. Tell me.
What's going on, everybody?
How does it feel?
As far as what? Is the situation going on, or that I'm the straight Andy No?
How does it feel getting up off your butt and magic happening while also having to dodge fireworks and having to smell third world leftist? How's that been going?
Oh man, feels good. Feels great.
All right, that's excellent. In quote, you can quote him on that, guys.
So, what would you say was the biggest surprise over the weekend? Were you surprised at how things went down while you were there?
Not entirely. No, not really.
I'm told that it was peaceful and that people were there just watching cars burn, and that it's all Donald Trump's fault for inciting it. Did you see any of that?
So when I was in Compton Paramount, it was by the time I got there was already things like the protesters were already throwing rocks and bottles at the cops. The police were already using non-lethal rounds at the protesters over there. So it was pretty hectic during the daytime. But in LA, when I went there during the day, so you have kind of two different crowds. During the day, you do have the protesters who are there to, stand up for their cause and everything. And don't get me wrong, there's some, verbal back and forth. There might be some troublemakers in the crowd, and they'll throw some stuff at, let's say there's a counter protest or something. They'll do that. But as far as like the bulk of like, if you're talking about rioting, looting, or not even looting, but like, burning of stuff, property damage, that's mostly during the night. It's a whole different crowd once the nighttime falls.
So that's my question. Do you think the curfew is going to do anything?
No, it's not. Because what happens, so what you got to remember with something like this, what happens is a lot of times what the cops do, they try to split these groups up. So it's not just one huge group, right? So it's easier to kind of manage. And then these groups, they start spreading out through the city. And then, you'll have different parts of the city where there's like vandalism, property damage, and stuff like that. And the most that the cops can really do at that point is just to start scattering everyone and then displacing everyone. So it's not just a huge group. Now, you do have instances where if there's a group and they have a police line, they will start, start like flanking them and then coming in, making arrests. But I haven't, when I was there, I really didn't see that. I believe I was there when I was there night 2 or night 1. I can't remember. But like LAPD, they would hold a skirmish line. And then for some weird reason, they would just kind of just drive off. They would all, get together and just go away. And they're either responding to a different area with a bigger group, or it's possibly that they're getting stand-down orders. So it's really hard to tell. I'm not, I'm not really too sure, but that's what I kind of think.
Did you see a single arrest?
I did see one arrest. It was a younger female. They did arrest her. I don't know exactly for what, but I did see an arrest. But that was I think that was the only one I saw.
Well, sometimes in some of those riot situations, if they're able to get that one person that's dumb enough to step forward on the line and not have a bunch of people backing them, they'll just grab them, pull them back behind the line, and throw cuffs on.
Yeah. Hayden's right. Hayden is right.
Yeah. It's because they're trying to dissipate the crowd however they can. And a lot of the times they don't want to use CS gas or something like that, because you do run the risk of one of those canisters hitting somebody and causing major bodily harm. And they try to avoid that as much as they possibly can, even though that is an effective tactic to disperse a crowd.
Yes.
Cornboy, Isaac, I mean, we've been watching Yo Pops. You guys got any questions for him?
Yeah, I would say of all the things you saw out there, there was a lot of, anti-deportation stuff, anti-ICE stuff. Would you say the sentiment, was there any of the opposite side? Did you see counter-protesters in favor of ICE, of the deportations, of Trump, anything out there while you were out there? Or was it mostly just the anti-ICE people? Did you see any of the other side while you were out there?
So the counter-protesters are far and few in between.
Okay.
I believe, was it yesterday when I was there during the daytime? You guys can actually see footage. I actually got the whole thing. There was maybe 3 people that came with American flags that were, I guess they're Trump supporters. I don't know what you want to say, if they're pro-ICE. I don't know what the term is. I guess counter-protesters.
They So some of the interviews I saw, they said they were just pro-America, that they had seen a bunch of people walking around with Mexican flags, and they wanted to be sure that there were people out there at least representing the United States. So I don't know if they were pro-ICE or not, but they were at least people going out to show love for their country. I can say that about them.
Yes.
How many? Then, speaking of loving country, how many Mexican flags did you see? And then also whatever you wanted to say.
A lot. That's pretty much all I saw. I mean, there's some other South American flags as well. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know what it was.
Did you see any Palestine flags?
Yes, of course.
Lots of Palestine. It was, from what I saw of everything, it was Mexico flags were number one. Number two was definitely Palestinian flags.
Yeah, for sure.
And then that was my next question. Any gay pride flags? It is the month.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen a single.
You know what's funny? I did see one gay pride flag that was mixed with the Mexican flag.
Oh, no way!
One gay Mexican flag.
I got a little chuckle out of that.
Yeah, because they'll do like the gay version of like the American flag. I've never seen
they'll do the
version.
Weird like halfway split, the diagonal split on two flags, and
What's it called? The Cholo Homo or something? I mean, that's just such a weird concept. I don't know.
Maybe that's why they're so upset and joining the riots, because of all this news is upsetting their month, and they're a little anxious that the corporations didn't get behind them this year.
They need to engage in next thing. They need next thing to do. What is current thing? I don't know. Need to stay relevant.
Mo, my name are your pops. I make a good documentary. Hell, your pops. And the panel. Mo, push your head. Oh wait, yeah. I was thinking people get back on
Avocados in
here.
the chat.
Mo, I guess we can let Mo get back on here one of these days. He's going on the list. Hey, buddy. All right, and any of you weirdos want on the list? Let me know. All right, yo, pops, you back with us?
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, so, was there anything you want to tell us? And oh my God, I got so many tabs. Yeah, anything we might not know that's not making it out?
I mean,
or have you seen any misinformation on like conservative Twitter or anything you wanna help fact check, or something from on the ground that we need to know?
I haven't really been keeping up with as far as what mainstream news is doing right now.
Did any of the people that you talked to say anything just unbelievable, like they don't believe the truth or anything like that?
I mean, they're saying the things that they say about their position. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, they're talking about the whole. It's all the talking points of what the pro-immigration people say that you see on the news and stuff like that. So it's pretty much that.
They have like almost like NPC talking points. A lot of like the inorganic protests actually have these slogans to chant and say. Did you notice any of
programming?
If you see any flyers at any point, I would love for you to go a flyer.
So, there's a bunch of flyers, of course. The main flyers that they are posting up are things about know your rights, about what you should do when ICE agents come. Oh shit, hold on. So right now we got a tactical unit, probably Santa Ana Police Department coming in, converging the scene. We are so there's a street takeover. The majority of the protesters are on First and Bristol, and the whole street is shut down right now. Fireworks are going off. We have a tactical unit moving in right now. Give me a minute, guys. I'm trying to get set up. And I'm gonna start moving.
Go ahead. Get set.
Are you
live coverage?
Is he live?
He's still on the street.
Oh, Isaac, get that pulled up.
Alrighty.
Yeah, we need.
I didn't know he was still streaming. I actually didn't know.
I thought he was done. I thought he was gonna end.
So wait a minute. Does he have two phones? You can stream.
Yeah, he has two phones. Yeah, he's literally. That's what I'm saying. We are the media now, and it's very simple.
We are the
literally. Yeah, buy a second phone, and you're the media now, and a gimbal. I believe he has a gimbal, and bam, you're the media now. All right. So while he's doing that, and you get that pulled up. Discuss how all those fun sirens is coming to a city near you. Andy No, or as I prefer to call him, Gay Yo Pops. If the political violence continues in LA, it'll be used to galvanize, inspire far-left extremists and anti-fascists across the country to incite anti-government insurrections in different cities. What we're witnessing now is almost exactly what happened 5 years ago. The same networks and militants are involved. We have lots of receipts on that. It is their same playbook, and their playbook is very thin, and they're going to do the same thing over again, and I don't believe it's going to work. All right, let's see. Who's winning
I have it pulled
first?
Up. So he turned his cam off on stream right now, but we have full audio. And if you need me to moderate that. Anything we say, we're going to hear on his stream as well. It echoes through cycles.
Yeah, because he is listening.
Ah, got it. So his chat just.
I'll let you know when he turns the camera back on. I'll let you know. So.
All right, guys. I don't know if you guys can hear me. It's pretty loud out here. We got a helicopter. Yeah. We got a police drone up ahead. We got a helicopter circling around right now. I'm kind of down the street, parked down the street, so I'm kind of walking over there right now. And we'll see what's going on here. I don't even to see if you guys can see everything.
Yep, I've got your stream pulled up right now. So we'll have a little bit of stream delay since we are watching your stream, and then so you've got your stream delay, and then we've got our stream delay. So there will be a little bit of delay on the audio, but we are watching you live right now.
Cool, awesome. Yeah, so I'm walking up right now. I'm on Bristol. I'm going to be getting up to First Street right now. We do have a lot of bystanders right here. A lot of bystanders just kind of watching the action going on right now. Street is shut down. We have heavy traffic. Streets are shut down, both north and southbound on.
What area in the county is this?
This is Santa Ana. We are in Santa Ana, California, Orange County.
Oh, and 20 minutes into the curfew at the moment, correct?
No. So that's
only.
exactly that's for
LA.
That's for LA.
Okay, got it.
For Los Angeles, for downtown LA.
So you think at this point, then, instead of the violent protests being in LA, they're just going to move outside of LA?
No. So
it's
happening everywhere. This is happening everywhere.
Got
you
it.
have groups out in LA. You have groups out in Orange County. So it's they're definitely not from the same group, but they're all united in their cause.
Yeah, the hotbeds have been downtown LA, but keep in mind that California has a very different view from the rest of the country what a hotbed riot area would be. But yeah, there are riots in multiple areas in California. However, the media has been focused on downtown Los Angeles mostly.
And they keep saying, well, it's only like 1% of Los Angeles, guys, so it's totally cool. I don't think it's totally cool.
I'm also convinced that
if it
people
all
in California
concentrated in
just
one
honk
area.
for fun now, even though they know nothing's happening. They just want to honk for fun.
That's
Sorry, I'm gonna.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just gonna mute that for a second. Unless you guys wanted to hear the wind and the horn honking.
Yeah.
At this point, I think it's more bystanders in that area seeing if anything is actually going to happen.
That's what it seems like. Yeah.
It's people just wanting to watch cars burn.
Yeah,
pretty
just
much
having fun.
It was interesting that the roads are closed.
Okay,
if
so
there's...
Okay, so it looks like east to westbound traffic on First is open right now. We do have a police line. It looks like it's sheriffs. It's Orange County Sheriffs, I think. They have a police line. They are moving traffic from Bristol, diverting it down to First Street right now. Let me see. Let me get a little bit closer.
This is exclusive footage,
so-
guys, so it's pretty good.
Let me see. Hold on.
Make sure you subscribe to Yo Pops if you haven't.
Sorry, did you
YouTube
guys see that?
loves it when a bunch of people just all of a sudden subscribe.
So it looks like, okay, it's possible that they're down over there. I don't know exactly what's where everyone is, because we do have groups of people congregating on the sidewalk, on the corners right now, obviously showing their support. I don't see any people, protesters, in the middle of the street or anything like that, but we do have southbound traffic on Bristol, and they're diverting traffic off.
Looking good.
I think we lost may have lost audio a little bit, but that's okay. We can still see video. We can still see what's going on. And I'm gonna keep an eye on it. If something really pops off, I'll make sure and let you know. I'll just leave it shared.
Those are Yo Pops.
Shit.
I want to mute
That's
you for
the
a second.
bad part with things happening in the suburbs. There's not as many cell towers to deal with congregations of people like that.
Heavy traffic will cause those kind of breaks in cell reception and stuff.
So here's one of these issues. This guy's interviewing Antifa scum who got arrested tonight in LA during the riots. This one brags about how none of them will be prosecuted. And that's why they keep doing it, and that's why they're going to do it all over the country, and why something needs to be done, and why people like Hassan, who is a fascist terrorist, egging people on to be violent, they need to be dealt with legally. And this is the Department of Justice's chance and FBI to finally do something. And we are desperately, desperately begging them to finally do something. And this is their chance. We'll be discussing that here in a second. Let's get Yo Pops back on here. Unmute. Is he back?
Yeah, it's the video's having a little bit of trouble, but I've there we go. It's rolling now.
Hassan catches the minute he radicalizes his audience to become violent criminals. He says half the people at the protests he attended in LA were his fans. No wonder there's so many federal agents in my chat, dude. Half the protestants Hassanabi heads. And then you laugh like Seth Rogen.
He is the biggest retard on the internet today. So
That's very true.
You know, I really don't like Hassan, and every time something comes up that makes him relevant again, it just makes me want to die, to scratch my own eyes out. Like
he's literally on the freeway in LA, just having a fun little peaceful protest, guys. We swear it's totally peaceful. Mark Ariadne, know your rights when ICE comes? I've been an attorney for a long time. Criminal process and immigration process are two different things. But the Democrats assure me we need due process for all of the illegals here.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure Obama gave all 5 million of his deportations due process. Yeah, that's been a thing at all time. Sure.
And they weren't deportations. They were actually just turnaways. Nagano dropping the 2 Yo Pops is our Blacktop Korean. Correct.
True.
I prefer straight Andy no, but Blacktop Korean also works. And Badfish for 8 months. Sometimes I just like to take it out and shake it around. Let me read the rest of this. Oh, Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like some sausage? Okay. I think that's pretty fair to wonder where the hell that one was going. Appreciate it, Badfish.
Yo Pops just did some Frogger across the street, and then the video cut out. So I hope he didn't get hit by a car right there at the end. But he just ran across the street, and I thought he was going to get hit once.
I see it moving again. It's moving again.
Yeah.
He doesn't appear to be limping.
No, he seems to be okay. We're good.
All right, so if he pops back in, then we'll go to his audio. If you see anything interesting happen, let me know, and we'll pull it back up. Otherwise, we still have 62 things to get to. Cloward and Piven, this is pre-panned. Cloward and Piven strategy originally was, well, we're going to purposely overwhelm the welfare system and destroy it using poor people, and then that'll force them to give us universal basic income. But essentially the idea, the left realized, oh, wait, if we just use mass immigration and port everyone in here and get them on all the social programs, it'll overwhelm the entire system and destroy everything. And
they just printed more money each time and so kept on bubbling the welfare system.
Mm-hmm. Can't we thank LBJ a lot for a lot of that stuff? Lyndon B. Johnson, he was largely
he had a lot to do with that actually,
and FDR,
FDR as well,
FDR, Woodrow Wilson,
gotta love it.
Yes, the lies of
we
socialism.
had a lot of criminals that made it to the highest ranking office.
And they call the one in office now a criminal. Jeez, learn your history.
Speaking of learning your history, this is actually from September 3rd, 2020, before the election got borrowed. Do you guys remember the Transition Integrity Project?
Yes.
Actually. Yes, starring
Just
John
the
Podesta as John Biden. So essentially, this was, what if there's a contested, election? Oh no! Whatever will we do? Oh, we'll basically have a civil war and have insurrections in all the cities, exactly like we're doing right now. They love doing their war games, just like before lockdowns. They had all their Operation Lockstep, all their Dark Winter stuff, all their various roundtable groups where they'd have like the pandemic simulations. Well, they have in case the Democrats, break glass in case of civil war, they are absolutely doomed. They know they are doomed. Their polling is absolutely in the ground. They are going for absolute broke. And they are finally
that's why they had to fill all these areas with illegal aliens so they could get more congressional seats.
I just saw this movie for the first time a couple weeks ago. It's fresh in my mind, yeah.
And it's quite relevant to the current situation, right?
Yes,
I have not seen it.
It's worth a watch. It's worth a watch. I had a lot... Not going to review the whole thing, but I have a lot of complaints with it, to say the least. And I think
thoughts on the pre-programmingness of it. That's what I'm interested in.
On the pre-programming, like in the projection onto
the setting us up for what is currently happening, because this very similar to all the protests and the Civil War stuff, and it's all about assassinating the president, which clearly what's happening right now is them trying to start the Civil War their color revolution, because they desperately want attempt number 3.
No, well, in the movie, they make it out Nick Offerman plays the president, and they make him a very Trumpian figure, of course, very, on the nose with that. Mm-hmm. And they make it out where the journalist lady, played by Kirsten Dunst, she's the hero of the movie. She works for the mainstream news, and she's the hero. She takes down the big, mean, right-wing fascist guy in the, the White House and stuff, and she's so awesome, and she documents it all, and and that's where we get the meme, what kind of American are you? That.
So Yo Pops is at a police line right now, but there are not any protesters at that line. But you can see that there is very clearly a show of force out there.
Interesting. There's a Mexican flag. Go back to where you came from.
A giant one, yeah.
I will say with this, there was a lot of talks of a race war brewing a little while back, and I think now we can say, I think fairly safely, that Americans as a whole, we can now have a common enemy, and that's people who are here illegally. We can now
Ronald Reagan said the aliens would bring us together, and now the aliens are going to bring us all together.
Exactly. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So it's now we can be like, hey, we have a common enemy here, so let's take care of it.
My big thing is going after all of like the USAID funding, all of the NGOs and the Soros. Like, how the hell is Soros still allowed to operate in this country? This gives them permission to do all of that. And people see they're handing out things like these shields and whatnot. It's like, who's funding it? Yeah. They just need to look into all of that stuff.
Those face masks and gas masks that they've been handing out, they're $30 to $60 per mask. And they were handing them out the other day off of the back of trucks. Yes. I mean, funding for this stuff is coming from somewhere.
And they need to stop it. And Trump, to his credit, keeps saying these are paid insurrectionists.
And he's correct.
Yeah.
That's what the majority of the No King Day will be, is paid insurrectionists.
Yeah, and we're actually going to be getting to that very shortly. Because we have Data Republican doing excellent work showing who all is behind that. So Alex, of course, has been calling this from the beginning of the year, that there would be some kind of immigrant riots, and then they were going to use some sort of false flag. He perfectly predicted what we're going through, and his prediction for what comes next, we've all been worried about for a long time, and they're finally pulling their Civil War stuff. They definitely are desperately hoping for another Charlottesville.
And they are, interestingly enough, tonight, there are reports that the Chicago bomb squad had been called in after rioters had broken into the sewer system of Chicago and placed quote-unquote suspicious packages. Now, I don't know if anything has developed from that, but I do know that the bomb squad was called in for the Chicago riots.
Going to be a lot of, bomb threats, a lot of doxing, and lots of, we got Cory Booker calling to dox all the ICE agents. I will say that, was it LA, alerts, or the kid who was
The
doxed on
LA
the
scanner.
LA scanner guy, I
LA
see,
scanner,
looking like he's gonna have repercussions.
Yeah, he bent
for
the
his
knee.
fucking
It
around.
looks like.
Well, he tried to
backtrack a
dox
little.
a bunch of agents,
Yeah.
and then a couple of people came out of the internet and went, you know what? You're going to dox people. I'm better at it than you are. And then the funniest part is he doxed himself.
Yeah.
Because he said, if my account gets banned, go follow me here. And it was his personal account.
Not
So
too
he
bright.
did
That's
it to
hilarious.
himself.
And it
Well, it's
turns
kinda
out
like
he's
how
a felon, and he's not supposed to have scanning equipment, so he shouldn't be an LA scanner.
Well, it reminds me, Hayden, what you said of how the anonymous account is ID verified on X.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
hilarious.
It's
Oh my
still
God.
ID verified, and then his personal
Yep.
account isn't. But he said, "This is my personal account," and he's posted personal pictures, posted his name, posted the area he lives in, all
I
on
know.
his fucking account. So yeah,
Genius.
I don't think you can really hold those other people accountable for doxing him if he just doxed himself constantly.
Pretty much, yeah.
And that's who we're going up against. No problem, though, is the dirty tactics are coming. Here, I'm just going to go and mute you, Yo Pops. Just unmute once you're ready. Is Shmoo Shmrain. I'm going to mention this very, 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 very briefly. What really turned around the Maidan Revolution, the Shmoo Shmrain Revolution in 2014, was when the police opened sniper fire on the protesters, and it was 100% the police that did it. No, like military or intelligence would have been involved in that at all. Is 100% the police. And then that's what turned the tides. We all look and we say, this makes them look so incredibly bad, which it does. Until the false flag comes. They are begging, they are praying for one of those cars to try to flee and hit some idiot protester trying to wheel her tear gas child across the street. They are begging for it.
We did actually see a flag that ran through the Chicago protest, or like a flag. I'm sorry, it wasn't a flag. It was a red car that ran through the Chicago protesters earlier today.
One movie I would like to recommend is the first Tom Cruise Jack Reacher movie. Where it kind of discusses what we just mentioned. You know, a rogue agent, goes off and commits a heinous act from a long distance, like you just mentioned, and it was said to be someone that was doing it on their own volition. And you later learned out in the movie it was someone that did not do it on their own volition. They were put up to it by certain forces. So, highly recommend. Yeah.
Remember the first day of Trump's presidency when a former military guy decided to Minecraft himself in a cyber truck and have it go right up to a Trump hotel and explode?
Yep.
Yeah, really worried because they've literally we have it at some point where they called in all the Waymo taxis and then set them on fire. They could program a Tesla thing, and that's like a symbol for them, and then. And they won another Oklahoma.
Who knows?
That's so
maybe that's why Elon got uppity last week. Protect his cars for a weekend.
Yeah, never know.
Well, I would say that they aren't burning Teslas at the moment, right?
That's true.
So they got back here. Historically speaking, revolutions, i.e., an uprising of the masses, are very rare. What are common are coups d'états by a small band of dedicated radicals. These are marketed to posterity as revolutions. Dems are testing Trump's resolve for a possible coup d'état.
Well, it's important to iterate here that a coup d'état is a military takeover. So it is an internal takeover. It is not a revolution. It is whenever something takes over the government from inside the current government, it being a rogue element. So them saying this is testing the resolve of that is to see how he would respond. And I would say sending 700 Marines into California is kind of a we're not going to take your shit move to make.
And I just want to say it's not just active duty military that would stand up to defend him either. So
absolutely.
There's people all across the country.
Well, and this is the whole Civil War, because they're trying to do color revolution, uprising, but then if they go to full Civil War, they'd have to be bringing all the Globo Homo military guys along with them.
That just reminds me of the blade of grass rifle behind every blade of grass here. They don't have the same conditions here as they have in other places where they've ran these operations.
Right. And a lot of those other operations that they do with the color revolutions that they've been implanting, it is the local citizenry. They give them guns, and that it is actually a revolution, not a coup d'etat. It's a full overthrow of the government, whereas them saying that this could be a test for a coup d'etat, I just want to reiterate, that means that there is an element inside the current government that has decided to overthrow the leader.
And we know the swamp is pretty deep. So,
indeed.
They seem pretty confident. And who normally overthrows foreign governments and totally doesn't operate in America? We swear sees the CIA. Do you guys... Who's the CIA director right now?
Who?
Do you guys know?
I don't know who it is right now.
Wait. No, it's John Radcliffe.
And that should concern you when you don't know who the CIA director is, because that means you haven't been hearing about the CIA, which means there's been absolutely zero changes to the CIA, which means that that's full-blown deep state still. And John Radcliffe did a lot of good, but he never got anything done. And since he's in the CIA, I haven't heard a single peep from him. Which technically What? Yeah, that's what you want from your CIA?
They will never voluntarily shrink in size, ever. It will never happen. Like, voluntarily, it will never happen.
That is the fourth column.
No, and with the Patriot Act, and then I can't remember what the name of Obama's act was that he did in 2012, but
the Smith-Munson Amendment Act.
The what?
Smith-Munson Amendment.
Yes, which was the one that allowed them to use propaganda on U.S. citizens, which they had never been allowed to do since their incursion. And I did intentionally call it an incursion.
Let's see. One moment. Let's check back in. It looks like he's having some fun.
It looks like they're fixing to roll out. They're on the boards on the outside of that SUV, so they're rolling to a new position.
They see me rolling.
They're on the move, yeah.
And if they're going to the front lines, it does look like Yo Pops is following them. So if something ends up happening, I will absolutely let you guys know, because I do have it pulled up. I am actively watching his stream. So I'll let you know if something important's happening.
I think we're down to 40 tabs. I continue to be impressed with Trump. He has doubled and tripled down on this being paid insurrection, that these are paid professional agitators. Trump still being super based and actually understanding the situation he's in. God bless.
And a lot of them don't even have to be paid professional Oh
yeah, the idiots watching the cars burn are idiots watching cars burn.
Idiots that show up and get paid $35 an hour just to add to the massive bodies that's there in a problem. And we know a lot of that was coming from USAID.
Yes, Hebrew. So I don't want to jump scare you guys, so brace yourselves. Gavin Newsom, Alex Soros, Clinton Global Initiative. As Benny Johnson says,
I thought you were showing us lizards.
Why is California descended into a third world insurrectionist foreign criminal hellscape? I can give you the answer in one photo. Yeah, correct. These are the elite that rule our world.
Their eyelids do in fact close sideways.
Allegedly.
I thought that you were showing us the origin of monkeypox, but that's a totally different issue.
I'm still convinced that Alex Soros is a clone.
This is the origin of monkeypox.
That's true. Yeah,
you're close.
The poor monkey.
I was going to transition, but Karen Bass, who is absolutely not a monkey, most people know her as the mayor of Los Angeles, and some remember her botched handling of this year's wildfire crisis. But there's a lot more beneath the surface. Let's dig in. On your own time, Data Republican, check her out. If you didn't know, she's deaf. She tells me she's deaf more than Mo Zamboni tells me he's a graphic designer.
True.
He is? I never knew that. That's crazy.
But if you were not aware, she's a big old NGO leftist, been living off, sucking the taxpayer teat for so long.
Karen Bass was actually in Ghana during the wildfire crisis, and for some reason, the neo-Marxist communist pieces of shit that are in government really like to spend time in Ghana. I don't know why.
She also likes to spend time in Cuba because she's literally essentially a Cuban communist.
Yep.
Activist. Or as we call them these days, community organizer.
And working,
I wonder,
real quick,
working for an NGO that could be a CIA cutout.
Moving quickly.
Excellent. On the ground reporter. You'll love to see it. Get up off your butts, and magic happens. Randy Weingarten. This is the lady? Gentlemen, this is the gentleman who wouldn't let your kids go back to school because they might get a small cold.
Yep.
Yeah, she is holding the town hall for No Kings. She's now not only the infamous teachers union president, she's also a member of the National Democratic Institute, a taxpayer-funded subsidiary of the National Endowment for Democracy. Interesting.
Marxist bitch.
She's about to be burning the country down this weekend. Data Republican getting to Churla. This one is funded by a billionaire Neville Singham. And big part of it, you wonder why you see all the free Palestine flags and the Mexican flags? It doesn't make any sense. This is why. And what are these? Literal socialist. Freaking socialist.
Here's the scary thing. Today was actually the first time I heard that guy's name.
Yes,
I had never heard his name before today.
Same.
And after doing a little bit of looking into him, it's like, oh, this is the money guy, just like Alex Soros, but we all know his name.
Wonder why he finally got unmasked.
Probably has more power than the Soros family does because we've never heard his name before today.
Yeah, usually a good rule. Yeah, Party for Socialism and Liberation. It's going to be a no for me, dog.
Yeah.
Anti-protest, let's see these. This is, some more. Yeah, Neville Singham, lots of stuff on that. There's a bunch of other groups as well. Yeah, you get all the Indivisible. Oh, yeah, this was, I think, a bunch of them. Indivisible. Yeah, a bunch of, if you're in San Antonio, Dallas, Houston.
Weird. All the
Austin.
blue cities in Texas? That's strange. What a strange place for a neo-Marxist to be. Wow.
I wanted to go through this as quickly as possible. It absolutely nails how all of this works, and it's not for the children. First, notice the protesters have shields. These types of shields were used by the 2024 pro-Hamas riders and 2020 BLM riders. Interesting.
Those shields are also very easy to manufacture. I just want to say
that's very true.
Anybody can actually make those shields pretty easily.
Yeah, correct.
But to be fair, you're giving them a lot of credit. These people have never done anything in their life before as well. So.
Yeah, exactly. So for them to actually get out and do this, it's not because they're doing it. There's actual groups of people specifically making these and then handing them out.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Those shields are not cardboard signs. They're designed to look like cardboard signs. They're in fact made of plywood and have metal handles. They have cardboard signs, because they use them to attack people. Isn't just the shields they're playing. We showed all the masks. Yeah, here we go. To see how this works when you understand the tactics they're using. The first strategy is to put their target in a decision dilemma by implementing a method of protest that leaves the person with no good options. No matter how the target reacts, they look bad. That's what they're trying to do with the National Guard stuff and Trump. Oh, look, he's a tyrant.
Yeah. This is why a lot of the times whenever you see those protests and things that are happening, you'll see people that are out there with strollers and what appear to be babies in strollers, because it makes an impossible decision for any National Guard or police that are there to dissipate the crowd.
You can't gas them at that point whatsoever. Yeah.
Yeah, didn't they call those bird doggers back in 2016? The people who were supposedly there for innocent reasons, but found out they were being paid to disturb the peace.
They were being there as a deterrent to any type of law enforcement taking any action. They weren't supposed to stir anything up themselves, but the fact that they were pushing around a stroller that presumably had a baby in it, because you have to assume that if somebody has a stroller, they have a baby, and that baby needs to be protected above everything else.
They're all about optics. There's a video that came out where a guy was saying, hey, we were flying some American flags the other day, and that was good because they're using all the Mexican flags and stuff to make us look bad, so we need to pretend like we're American. She's like, oh, yeah, that was a really good idea, but my supervisor told me that we can't fly them right now. So they all have supervisors. They're all false flagging and doing things to make themselves look good, because as we get to the next point, The real action is your target's reaction, in which rioters use people's reactions to the protests against them. The goal here is to try to force the authorities to overreact so rioters can play martyr for the camera. Cornboy, you got any thoughts on their cry bullying tactics?
Well, yeah, I mean, they have training for this. Who's paying for the training? They have handlers. They have a whole system set up to professional protest, and somebody needs to shut down these networks. They're not organic. They're not the true will of the people. They're people's. They're following agendas driven by the rich and powerful people who want to disturb the peace of the country.
Absolutely.
Disturbing, such as putting bunches of benches in the middle of the road and blockading freeways. Getting children, oh, look, I'm wearing a mask. It's totally because I care about my health, not because I'm hiding my identity, because I'm a terrorist. Play to the audience that isn't there. The principal work behind this entire strategy, activists pick their tactics and strategies based on optics. They want to make themselves look like sympathetic underdogs to the audience seen on YouTube or watching the news, and that gets into, they essentially just have a gigantic gaslighting network. We'll just go. I'm just going to blast through these real quick. Demrep Garcia, LA ICE raid shameful. If you were here illegally, you deserve due process. Go fuck yourself. Rick Caruso, the guy who made some censor in the fires, is saying there is no emergency in LA. It's only 1% of LA that is having an insurrection. It's totally cool, bro. Nothing to see here. Seeing as Dana Bash, Trump was the arsonist in Los Angeles. Cory Booker, Trump is trying to incite violence at totes peaceful protests, we swear. Whoopi Goldberg, Trump is using LA protests to escalate U.S. towards civil war. And then you get to LAPD chief that says, no, violence is escalating. This is bad. This right here. This is
awful.
The worst optics the Democrat Party has ever had. Yeah, Hayden, you got any thoughts on this?
Yeah, no. So in this situation, what you had was people actively throwing bricks and things off of an overpass, as well as fireworks and anything else, targeting civilians first. Then police shut down the road and went to shut down what was happening. And they were still getting pelted with fireworks and bricks and rocks and all sorts of things. And meanwhile, you've got people just flying their Mexican flags, their Palestinian flags, and screaming, "No justice, no peace." And now the fun chant that they're doing now is from Gaza to Mexico. I can't remember what it is they're saying.
Ilhan Omar's daughter posted it, right? Yeah.
Yeah. They have now made it from the river to the sea. They have now turned into from Gaza to Mexico, which I don't know if you guys are aware. That's half of the fucking world.
Yeah, that's half the planet. What the hell? There's an ocean there too. Yeah. Wait a minute? Did you say Ilhan Omar has a daughter? I never knew this.
She does, and it's not by her brother. Actually.
Oh, see, I was just gonna say, what's that be like to have your father and mother be your aunt and uncle at the same time?
No,
very interesting.
She's an
not
activist.
A daughter by her brother, but she did legally marry her brother under U.S. law.
Right. Yes.
Because in the Islamic relation,
yes,
they don't recognize anything that's married under a Christian ceremony, so it was perfectly fine for her to do.
Right. Okay. Very
allegedly
good for clarification. Yeah, and allegedly Letitia James claimed her father as a spouse on a tax form. Allegedly. Yes. I mean, it's just interesting how those interworking family relationships get construed.
Listen, they matter in some countries, they don't matter in other countries. And if you don't give a shit about the morals, it's fine.
I suppose not. Yeah. Very interesting people. Yeah.
Yes, and we will be discussing that because they still are keeping slaves. It's the illegals at the Home Depots.
But real quick update. Yeah.
Real quick update for anybody curious. Yo Pops is back on foot now. There's not really anything happening. He's walking in a direction. So just want to keep you guys up to date. I am keeping an eye on it, and I'll let you guys know if anything pops off.
So it's not just Trump that understands these are professional agitators. It's also that LAPD chief I just mentioned. When I look at the people who are out there doing the violence, that's not the people that we see during the day. These are people who are all hooded up. They've got a hoodie on. They've got face mask on. They're people who do this all the time. So the ones in the day, that's a bit more organic. Those are the idiot Hassan enjoyers. The ones at night, those are the actual full-blown, like, trained Marxist, absolute, like, fascist, terrorist, doing this professionally. As Yopops pointed out, the people who come out at night, it's a whole nother level. And those are the ones definitely on the payroll, and those are the ones the CIA probably has, hey, maybe, we'll point you in this direction here. A
Fifth degree of separation going on, maybe less.
The Antifa, they pretend FBI, we got to stick them after all the right-wingers because they're a bunch of terrible, evil monster terrorists. But then you have actual Antifa like cells that are actual genuine domestic terrorist cells where they do actual training and such like that. But they never do anything about them ever. And why is that? Because they're the paramilitary wing of the deep state. They are the left and the military.
Aren't they always tracking like bases out in the middle of the desert or just across the border where something's happening, but they don't do anything about it?
Well, their ideological warriors are always allowed to have any kind of training camps or anything that they need to have. And it's just a thing where people go get together on the weekends. That's all it is.
But you try to build a copland outside of Atlanta and you get protests.
Weird.
Yeah, that are organized. They are one. That's our problem is we don't organize. We like just recently got together. We got like Charlie Kirk like levels of organizing. We got Scott Pressler levels of organizing. They have actual genuine, incredibly well-funded and well-oiled machine creating this full-blown fascist terrorist training camps essentially.
Yeah. But you also have to remember that for a long time, anytime 5 people would get together and start talking about doing a thing where they go train together, they were showing up and arresting all of them for terroristic conspiracy.
Yep.
So,
I mean, even having a group go to PTO meetings was being targeted by the government, and they call themselves the rebels.
Yeah, our side is very individualistic, and we're not the type to conglomerate and get together and do that type of stuff. We do want to be kind of left alone, and we're not activists naturally, like a lot of these paid people on the left are to go out and do this stuff. And
well, that's because our side mostly sends our sons and daughters into the military to do it for us.
Right.
So there's activists and there are anarchists. As the police chief points out, they're connected. Someone called them anarchists. They're people that we run across routinely city to city, and this is what they do. Many of the people who are doing this come in from other places just to hurt people and to cause havoc. As they point out, it's not spontaneous, it's organized, and it's designed to burn the city to the ground. As Trump is saying, if it weren't for Trump, all of LA would be on fire.
True.
And they are doing their best to do so. Democratic LA council member urges leftists to escalate attacks on ICE agents. So while they do that, they always like to start off so we're totally for peaceful protesting and we abhor violence. With that said, Donald Trump is a Nazi and you should go out and catch everything on fire. We abhor violence though. Yeah. And this is how you wake up people in the middle. This is how you wake up classic like liberals. People finally are going to see this and go, that does not compute at all. Waymo stopped service of self-driving taxis in downtown LA over anti-ICE riots because they called them in and then lit them all on fire, bro. It's just a peaceful protest. We just want to see cars catch fire.
$600,000 worth of cars were burned. So, maybe at one point as a company you go, don't send any more.
Remember, well, if you remember, 2 days ago, they were trying to say it was the officer's gas canister and smoke bombs that caused the car to catch on fire. And it's like, okay, you can maybe get away with saying that for one car. Accidents happen, but when you have $600,000 in damage of cars, no, it's not.
Is that what happened to the car that Yo Pop saw in front of Dale's Donuts?
Allegedly. And the thing is, I'm willing to give benefit of the doubt. It could have happened. It's possible.
A bunch of people in chat were saying it was, but there are so many leftists and liars and trolls.
Somebody caught that shit on fire. I don't care. I'll say it. Somebody caught that shit on fire.
Let's just say $600,000 worth of vehicles.
I don't think they were
catch on fire.
firing those rounds at the time, though. It was early in the day.
Well, they were
I know
popping things off.
on that day. I do know that Yo Pops was around whenever they did fire a couple of canisters into crowds. It had happened a couple of times, and I remember because I was very worried about him whenever they would fire him off, and he was in a safe spot, safe distance away. But
can we just be honest? A Mexican dropped a Zippo in the car seat. That's what happened. We know that, like, come on.
Yeah, how still. This is one of the places where it first began. ICE forced to barricade themselves inside the federal building in Los Angeles till LAPD could intervene and rescue them from the brave crowd standing up to the regime. Anonymous. Yeah. Chase Oliver, California. This should be the national mood. Keep it up. This was the libertarian candidate for president.
Friendly reminder. Of libertarian accounts called him out, though, rightfully so. Dave Smith, redheaded libertarian, a lot of them did call him a retard for that. So,
friendly reminder: friends don't let friends be libertarians. All right, absolutely moving to the next one.
Just there as a spoiler to the conservatives at this point.
Correct. And they used to have 90% great ideas and then 10% like the worst takes ever. And they've done their best to flip that around. And now we got I keep wanting to defend.
That's because all the sensible ones left.
I want to keep defending the Rand Pauls and the Thomas Masseys and such. But God, they make it hard sometimes. Muchos gracias. Amigos! The Los Angeles rioters and the Mexican president just made the perfect case for mass deportation. I didn't think that they were going to go with this route because it's such an 80-20 issue. I thought if they started the rioting, they were going to attempt to do the whole Free Palestine crap. Because at least they ain't got a bunch of idiots on our side that are like, yeah, hashtag Free Palestine. There's quite a bit of passion for that. Literally everyone except the craziest of leftists are against illegal immigration. So I did not think they were going to go this route. It's such a bad move by them. And then they went this route.
This is excellent imagery for us going into the midterms, frankly, I have to say. So
it's a little early, though. We got a whole summer.
I'm just saying, the commercials make themselves. Get the footage of the guy with the flag on the bike going around the burning car. Thanks for the commercial.
The left is giving Trump all the visual symbolism he needs. Rioting, burning cars, assaulting police while waving the flag of a foreign nation. They are making his case for him.
So when he puts down the hammer and causes this to be quelled out with whatever force necessary, he's going to have justification with this symbolism. Exactly.
And so if he doesn't do this, then he's never going to do anything. I trust him. He's got to get his deputies, and a lot of people are going on. And Stephen Miller is the absolute best with it. Carolyn Levitt getting in on it. Everyone's getting on board. Everyone's getting on board. It makes me happy. What's Vance saying? Insurrectionists carrying foreign flags are attacking immigration enforcement officers, while one half of America's political leadership has decided that border enforcement is evil. Time to pass President Trump's beautiful bill and further this score. The big beautiful bill looked like it was going to seriously struggle.
Yeah, it was below 50% on the betting markets. I think it's shot up.
I think it's going to pass. A much higher chance of passing now. We're at the point. I don't think even the Republicans quite understand. When Trump pulled out his $5 million gold card to get in, immigration card to get in, I was like, hey, that's actually a pretty good idea. And then they did the polling and everyone hated it. We're so against immigration, people didn't even want $5 million gold card.
Yeah.
It started with the H-1B visa thing that Elon floated, and we were like, nope.
We need to stop immigration for now.
Okay, let me hunt the tab down because, yes, everything
even some normal staunch conservatives are coming around to the point now, it seems.
Charlie Kirk and others, finally, 10 years late, but whatever.
Matt Walsh, ban all third world immigration, legal or illegal. There should be a moratorium. I love me a good moratorium on all immigration from the third world. We've reached our capacity. We cannot be the world's soup kitchen anymore. Charlie Kirk. It's time to ban third world immigration, legal or illegal. We've reached our limit. We have a huge cultural, educational, housing, financial, and essential services problem to fix now because of it. We need a net zero immigration moratorium with a ban on all third worlders. That's my kind of net zero.
Amen.
Let's get to net zero by 2030. Yeah, Hayden, you want to get to net zero by 2030?
Yeah, especially whenever you're talking about third world countries, because America has done a lot to try to further, people from third world countries that may be exceptional people, but we've also done just as much to make them exceptional people while we have left American citizens in the dust doing that kind of thing. So, yeah, ban on third world immigration. Absolutely. I'm done with it.
And I was originally, against all immigration, but then I kind of thought about it. We have to, I think we need to rescue some people from the other first world countries that are being oppressed.
True.
And we
I'm
can
fine
trade
with that.
them, our
I'm fine
leftists,
with
for
that.
their,
Listen,
conservatives.
Let's bring some
Listen.
Finnish over.
All right.
I want more Finnish people.
I'm gonna say something highly controversial right now. I don't have a problem with French women, so we can actually import several of them and save them. All right.
Hell yeah.
Same
Hell
with
yeah.
Japanese women. Okay.
Well, my rule is European, white, or Christian. You're not one of those. You're in luck. Just become a Christian, idiot.
Fair.
Or how about all three? Let's just do all three of those combined. I'm good with
Well,
that one too. Yeah.
Well, if you're all three, let's put you to the front of the line.
Yeah, you're just
And
immediate.
You
Don't
just
process
get in.
it.
If you're a hot
Yeah.
French woman, stamp. Approved.
You're a citizen now. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Well, we'll do one armpit check, and then
Yeah, you just
stamp.
do a quick
Well,
check real quick. All right. That's
that's
all
a
you
re-
have to do.
Yeah, they need to assimilate to that at least.
They have to demonstrate they know how to use soap.
I was so confused when I found out that wasn't a true stereotype rumor. As soon as I found out that wasn't true, I was like, "Wait, what? I've been told that my whole life. What do you mean?"
Well,
Yeah,
that was
that's
actually the
not
stereotype.
true.
Probably just came from men in drag in Paris.
Right.
So
Well, no. So it actually came from women in the 70s in France,
okay.
which was still common in the United States too. So
Yes.
just say
Times change. Times change. Yeah.
indeed.
I know
It's
who's your
just
daddy
you
would
saw
be
a lot
fine with
more
the French
armpits
ladies.
out of French cinema at the time.
True.
So, why are they so mad? Because we cut off all their black slaves, and now they're sad we're cutting off all their brown slaves. LA anti-ICE riots exposed the shameful slave labor subculture of illegal day workers. There's a subculture where there are what I refer to as day hookers. They are the equivalent of hookers, but they do day labor and they hang outside big hardware stores and they wait for people to pick them up for one day's work. They don't speak English. They inevitably will say they can do any job you have and they will do it for, a small fee, generally less than minimum wage, and it's slave labor essentially, and it's a miserable existence. But for legal aliens, that's what they've gotten. And in LA, this has been woven into the fabric of our city. And until Donald Trump came along, that this is something that we've just entirely tolerated. We've been completely comfortable with this. It's slave labor.
Yeah, I mean, we've just traded plantations for apartment complexes and low income areas.
Yeah, we don't make them stay in the same shitty quarters anymore, but they still need
It's all
to
they
show
can
up
afford
at the
these
same
days,
shitty
though,
business.
by design.
No.
So I would like to import some Japanese, but sadly there are not enough Japanese. We need all of them in Japan protecting it as best they can.
No.
All of
See,
the dirty
okay,
gaijin.
that's the thing. There are men in the United States and other parts.
I know,
of the
we
world
need to go
that
to
need
Japan.
Go to Japan.
Right? Yeah, we need to do that before
Not
they
a horrible
start importing from other countries like we have been.
Go raise their birth rates before they take it on themselves.
Japan for the Japanese, and also Irwin. Now, everything we just talked about. Now, flip it on its head and verse it Satanism style. MSNBC's glad dark Trump supporters love ice skating, or love ice love ice skating, love ice acting.
I mean,
like
they're not wrong.
Like slave catchers. So
they probably also do love ice skating.
Can I just say, when they say dark Trump supporters, what do they mean by dark? That's kind of racist. I
that
think,
we're that we're evil and that we are nourished on the pain of the illegals being arrested, and they would be right.
So they don't mean like
the
Cole Hauser, a black Trump supporter.
That's what I'm saying. Praise a rock.
The fat crying like illegal that got turned into like the Ghibli meme and whatnot. That genuinely gave me joy and sustenance.
Yes.
So if that makes me dark, then I guess I'm darker.
When I feel down, I watch videos of illegals crying. It energizes me greatly. So
I like that guy who was.
It's even better when they separate
Georgia.
families and they're crying more. It's awesome, man. So
that
what
guy
was
who
he
was
named?
walking around Georgia wearing that the Blacks for Trump shirt, or no, well, I mean that's the only way I can say what his shirt actually
Oh
says.
yes, Nintendo's for Trump.
Nintendo, yeah,
Nintendo's
yeah,
for Trump.
Exactly.
for
Yes,
Trump,
we're
yeah.
talking about Japan. Yeah.
Yeah, different dark Trump supporters, I guess. But whatever,
Yes.
we all have the same
So-
views and get along with each other great. So
Absolutely.
you know,
So remember when they decided not to put a citizenship question on the 2020 census so that way they could get more representatives by counting
Thanks,
the
Justice
illegals?
Roberts.
I remember a time when the Democrats did something funny like that with their black slaves, where they managed to get to count them as 3/5 of a vote for extra representatives. It's the same exact thing. It's
Well-
the Democrat slaves, and they are pissed we cut off their pipeline.
to be fair, it was the Republicans who put out the option for the 3/5 compromise because they didn't want every individual to be represented in the Democratic
I know.
places.
And they make the Republicans sound evil for saying 3/5, but
Yeah,
they wanted
exactly.
to count a slave as one person despite
Yes.
not being able to vote and be a slave, which is hideous.
Because only 3% of Americans actually owned slaves during peak slavery in the United States. And
Yeah, but Western
they were all
territories.
Those districts had
Western
a lot of
territories
people
and
who
such.
couldn't vote and had a minority of people who
who
voted
were the
for 'em.
slave owners? It wasn't a lot of people they make it out to be.
It wasn't a lot of Christians, I'll tell you that much.
yeah, nope, it was not. It was not.
Nope.
Very, very interesting.
A lot of Democrats. Okay.
Lots of them.
Back
Yeah.
to the tabs. Even CNN knows the riots are going to backfire on the left. And basically just talking about how Trump's immigration approval numbers are already incredible. They're over 50%. And for a president to get approval rating on anything over 50% is enormous. To get 54% approval, that means it's actually an 80-20 issue. If you know about like congressional approval ratings and whatnot and media, they're like 12% and whatnot. If you're above 50% approval on something, that's incredibly impressive. And even CNN has to admit, yeah, no, Trump is being rewarded for this, and that no matter what poll you look at, no matter which way you cut it, the American public is with the Republicans, the American public is with Donald Trump. And then at some point he points out how that's concerning because that means, oh, you know, because the Democrats are freaking out, oh, Trump's going to overreach. But he is pointing out how Republicans want him to have that strong fist, and he has the full approval, and he does. So do you think he needs to come out with that iron fist and restore law and order? Hey, and
Well, yeah, because I
start
think
with-
more independents are becoming Republicans because of it too. That's boosting his numbers of approval rating. Is the normal number of independents is lower. That could go either way. They're just supporting the party that Trump is in now.
No, I agree, and it's because a lot of what Trump is doing is just like what we saw him do with LA, where he was like, all right, send 500 Marines in. Like that was a big move. It's something that hasn't been done for a long time. But once he sent in National Guard and things weren't quite going the way he wanted them to, it was, all right, send in the Marines. And he's gotten a resounding amount of support for doing that because these riots need to be quelled. And if you're going to quell a riot, who better to send in than the fucking United States Marine Corps?
I voted for law and
Hoorah.
order, and he is delivering, and I want him to deliver more, even more. So, get heavier handed with it, please.
His problem is going to be not getting heavy-handed with it. We desperately want the Republicans to do something. If they don't want to get wrecked in the midterms, he has to do something. It's the Republicans to lose, and the Democrats think they're putting him in a terrible position, but instead they are making sure the Democrat Party ceases to exist after this, which is why they're going to have to resort to a false flag to try to win back some of their support. It's
Well,
not gonna
hopefully
work.
by then all the funding will have run out from Act Blue and USAID being investigated so heavily.
Hopefully.
Well, you mentioned false flags. That stay vigilant because what is this stuff possibly distracting us from? What's on the horizon? What is where?
Nobody's talking about Shmoosh Moraine and
No one's
Musha, and nobody's talking about Ishmael and
Nobody's talking about Kash Patel making a fool of himself on Joe Rogan.
Nobody's talking about Palantir either.
There's a
Nobody's talking
lot
about
of
that.
stuff not being talked about right now because of this.
So the Democrats started rioting to protect Peter Thiel. Is your current theory?
No, the theory is they've got so
kinda
many
retarded.
fingers and so many pies that they needed something
So
domestic.
Cash Patel started the LA
No,
riots.
that's not what I said. That's
what
I said.
Corn Boy said.
Yeah.
No, I don't think Cash Patel.
I'm
Also
saying we need to
fucking
look at the bigger
retarded.
picture. I don't think that these riots are the end game. I don't think these are the end game for them. What do they hope to accomplish out of it?
This.
No, seriously. A greater destabilization. We're not saying no. Erwin, we're not saying that the riots are to distract from that.
No,
Greater destabilization going into midterms.
The riots were funded for a reason.
Yes.
And I fully believe that they are funded.
So the left is about to start burning every city this weekend. But
Nope.
what are the Jews up to? What's the real play here?
So that's,
I actually
that's the
don't think
stuff
they
that
have anything
don't
to do
want
with this.
people
It's all a
talking about.
distraction. They're going to burn the city down, but that's just a distraction. What do they actually want to distract us from?
No,
I think we're
burning
going
the
to try to
cities down?
Nobody's talking
No,
about
that's
anything
not the end goal.
happening.
Yeah. This has permeated the whole of conscious of America, so they could pretty much do whatever they want right now.
Absolutely.
Yes, we have to. I'm just saying, be aware of it. Be aware of it.
I know, but you guys went full retard. I don't understand why you guys went full retard and said
No,
that
You,
Cash
you just said
Patel-
three
Cash
of the
Patel
4 people
started
on the panel
riot.
went full retard.
We're saying,
Maybe.
Erwin, we're saying stay aware of it. We're not pinpoint. We don't have the answer. We're just
We're
saying.
just
I don't
saying
think
don't
that,
forget about things.
Yeah,
I don't think
don't
that.
forget about
Yeah,
things.
stay aware. We lived through this shit in 2020. Exactly. You know.
Do you remember what was happening in Shmrain and Shmrussia right before this kicked off?
I'm only capable
don't.
of thinking of one thing at a time, I'm told.
There,
Do you remember-
there were threats of using tactical nukes.
Yeah, weren't we on the brink
And then
of
it
World
got
War III
real
just a
fucking
week
quiet.
ago?
Uh-huh. And then it got
There's
real
still
quiet.
Yes.
issues.
And then trying to start World War III and a civil war at the same time, while they also probably are going to try to, with the economy as part of a gigantic
this isn't
plan.
gonna start a
That is
World
not
War,
a distraction
civil
from like
war.
the Epstein list.
Well, nothing's a distraction.
That's the argument you guys just
Everything
made,
is a distraction.
that this is just
Yeah,
a
everything and
distraction
nothing.
from Cash Patel embarrassing himself.
Now, see, I'm not saying Cash Patel, but what I am saying is that there are way heavier things. This is not going to blow up into a civil war. This is just some
No, it's
dumb
not. You're
civil
absolutely right.
discourse
Yep.
that currently has everybody's attention.
It's
And
going to be an
it
attempted
makes you
color
wonder,
revolution, though. That is for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, we just can't
I don't even know
let
if
it be a
pushing
flavor of the week like everything else.
Well, this absolutely is a flavor of the week. Like, I don't think this is a full blown push for a
Take your
color
eyes off
revolution or a takeover. Like, I think this is just some dumb shit that they've been able to stir up to get us to not pay attention to other things. Like, this is insignificant. There's been no
So what are
looting. There's been no burning anything. There's been
So
no,
what are we being distracted from then?
great
We don't
question.
even need to be distracted from
Next
anything.
question.
So I shouldn't care about the riots. All right, the stream's over, guys. We're gonna do some research to figure out what we're
not
actually
it.
being distracted from.
That's not it, because this is still dangerous. It does still
that's
cause
not what
problems.
we're saying, Erwin. We're not going full Spurg here with it. That's not what we're saying. We're just
Yeah.
saying be aware because we've lived through this shit before. 2 towers came down, then a million dead Iraqis later. You know, it's just we're saying. So just
Yeah. Building
do
7
some
fell
shit.
without anybody doing anything. Like,
it's worth mentioning, I think.
So I can't talk about 9/11 being an inside job because it was actually hiding up to $2.3 trillion from the Pentagon. So we need to talk about the missing trillions from the Pentagon. Why are we even talking about the towers coming down? That's just a cover up to distract you from the Pentagon money missing.
no, because 3,000.
No, we
people
can care
still
about
died.
both. We can care
Yeah,
about both because
for
both
sure.
are important or both
Hey, they
are,
had a
are
big
deals.
insurance
And
claim
that's
on those
exactly
towers.
what we
the
were
next
all
day.
saying.
That's literally what we just said for this situation.
Was
yeah.
also don't forget about the other things going on and that there may be some nefarious things happening,
It's
because
a
they will
holistic
But you
funnel
guys
something to
implied
make
that
you
this
think.
plan was rolled out specifically to distract from something, though. I don't
No,
think that's what's happening.
No, I
It
just
could
think
have
it's a natural evolution. Actually, I mean,
It's a byproduct.
the immigration enforcement and deportation has been ongoing, and sooner or later somebody is going to be angry over it.
All
and
they
things will
need to
start up.
see is a spark, and then they will add fuel to the fire to make it a bigger issue.
They're hoping that there's one crazy on either side that does something to spark some shit. They're hoping that some crazy person on one side or the other does something crazy and it gives an excuse for something larger. I think they're trying to goad Trump into taking heavy actions too, and that's why he's using a heavy restraint. He's using heavy restraint here. And they're trying to goad him into being the dictator they want him to be. And he's saying, and I'm trying to egg him on, be like, bro, come on. Have a heavier handed approach.
Do the dictator thing, damn it.
Do it. Come on. This is like what I voted for. Be a dictator.
That sounds like a distraction to me. Gavin Newsom melts down after President Trump says, great if Tom Homan arrests the governor. Yeah, he literally is literally begging to be arrested.
I want that.
I'm saying they should arrest Bass before he gets arrested. So
I would actually, I can't stand Gavin Newsom, but if we run into a situation where a president or a federal administration arrests a governor again, that's the point that we could run into another civil war type of situation. And I'll say this, the benefit is that Californians aren't allowed to own guns like everyone else is. So it would probably be a steamroll of a situation, but no, I don't like the thought of that. I don't, as much as I hate Gavin Newsom, I don't want to see a president at the head of an arrest of a governor of a state, because
not ideally, no.
Like Gavin Newsom was at least on the forefront elected as the leader of that state. You cannot just go in and go, you know what? You violated the law, criminal scum. I don't know if anybody got the Oblivion reference.
Did the Jews get you? Did Cash Patel get you, Hayden?
I don't want that to happen, but I do think Gavin Newsom needs to be put in his place. And, you know, there's other ways you can
but
put
his
a
place
governor
is a
in
jail
place.
cell, is it not?
Yeah, maybe, but not for running his state the way that he was, quote unquote, elected to run it.
Do you think this is?
Yeah, we remember that last election was interesting. You know,
It was very strange getting recalled and then still not like just getting reelected. That was weird.
Very
is this hurting or helping his 2028 chances?
He's never running for president.
Definitely not
think he
after
has a
this.
chance. No.
He'll try to. He's the only one on the bench, but it'll fail miserably.
Yeah, they're gonna have to whip out Michelle Obama or something.
Mm-hmm.
Our friendly
Don't forget
reminder.
about Pete Buttigieg.
While
David Hogg.
Actually, I just got rid of a David Hogg article. So the actual head of the DNC is saying that David's made it so hard for him to do his job because he says he's going to primary everyone that he's thinking about stepping down. So not only can they do a re-election, whatnot, if that dude steps down, then David Hogg could potentially end up as the head of the Democrat Party. And he's
I hope so.
And he's all about getting rid of all the.
We can only hope.
All the moderates and whatnot, like Fetterman. He's like, maybe we shouldn't burn things down. Fetterman's going to be one of the first ones to go. But while they're doing their pearl clutching, friendly reminder, this was from December of last year. More National Guard coming to help with New York City's subway security as cameras are now in every car. Remember when they couldn't manage their city well enough that they had to put the National Guard in the subways?
Yep.
I remember.
That looks very dictatory. That's very fascisty of them. Oh, you're militarizing.
It is pretty fascistic to have a military showing in the subways.
Wow. But it's okay when they do it, though, right?
Yes.
Correct. And now for the ultimate gaslighting. Nancy Pelosi, on January 6th, we begged the president of the U.S. to send in the National Guard. We begged him. He would not do it. And yet in a constitutional way, he has sent the National Guard into California. Something is very wrong with this picture. Yeah, you completely wrote history. How are you still in power?
Yeah, that was completely wrong because Trump did have National Guard troops on January 6th, and he asked for Capitol Police to be able to take the forceful position. And Nancy Pelosi, who at the time was Speaker of the House and in charge of the Capitol Police, would not approve the request. Right up until the moment that January 6th started to happen.
That was around the same time he got kicked off social media all at once as well.
Crazy. It was weird.
So he couldn't convey the message to us that he was calling in security when they were saying he wasn't, and they could dictate the narrative.
Here's the thing, Isaac. So he did actually convey that to us via social media, and then he apologized for what was happening and told people to go home. And then within 1 hour, he was banned off of all social media.
In an organized manner, too. Yeah.
It was kind of weird how that happened. Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
And then Amazon suddenly removed Parler from Amazon Web Services.
Yep. It was all gone at that point.
Not coordinated at all.
Not at all. So they are begging for their false flag moment or an absolute renegade. They're just waiting for Cornboy to come guns a-blazing at all these illegals. He's going to take care of the problem himself. Well, some Dutch have started doing just that. We'll do it ourselves. Dutch vigilantes stop cars at German border and protest over illegal immigrations. Citizens say they are taking action because the government is failing to control the border. So this is where Geert Wilders, who's been like a big anti-immigration in Europe guy, he just basically disbanded the government coalition because they weren't going along with his immigration. He's like, basically, screw you guys. We're doing another election because I bet I'm going to win and we're going to do this shit. So they are tired of people, of nothing being done. And then Germany obviously is an absolute shithole when it comes to all the illegal immigration. The group of around 12 men began stopping vehicles on Saturday evening along the N366, a key route between Germany and Netherlands. They pulled cars over and even inspected trunks. Say they took action because authorities are failing to secure the border and stem the flow of asylum seekers entering the country. Nothing is happening. Then we'll do it ourselves. Allegedly, the action, we do obviously would never condone something like this. The action, although brief, drew sharp criticism from police and government officials. And then one of the people they stopped ended up being German police. And so they kicked them out. So they just went to the other side and just went back to pulling cars over to check them for asylum seekers. So
based.
I mean, maybe
doing your shit.
Some of this I like, and some of it I'm not a huge fan of.
No, I'm all for it because if you know what the situation is over there with borders, it's bad. It's really bad.
Maybe they should
those
take
are
a
the
cue from
situations where you
Poland.
need citizens to step up and be like, nah, this is not gonna pass.
Defend your country like a man, basically.
Didn't they just make a law in Poland saying that anyone can defend the borders?
Yes. Yes, they did.
They got howitzers on the border in Poland. They know what the hell is up. I mean, they talk about a militarized border.
So, of course, the police and military were very sad at them, and they told them, let the police and military police do their job and abide by the law. But they're not doing their job. Now, the Netherlands cannot handle the current influx, but insists that border enforcement must remain the responsibility of the authorities who are purposely destroying the country irreparably.
You should never allow the authorities to take the position of power if they are taking the wrong position. That's what I'll say.
And if
stays within guidelines.
If they're fudging it all up, we have a duty to stand up and say, yeah, we ain't doing this shit no more.
When a law is unjust, there is no law at all, essentially, and they're living that out.
And then it's around here somewhere he actually, So Geert Wilders, the big immigration guy who just dissolved the government, essentially called it a fantastic initiative, adding, if Prime Minister Schoof and the VVD do not immediately deploy the army en masse for this, we will have to do it ourselves. I would like to participate next time. So, internal checkpoints, not a fan. Citizen border checkpoints. All right, let's have a discussion.
So, as people know, I work in New Mexico. New Mexico is the only state I've ever been in that they will do random DUI checkpoints where they will just set up a bunch of cops on the side of the road that just pull over everybody.
They do that in New Hampshire too. For DUI, like to check if you're under the influence of stuff.
Well,
and I don't want Cornboy coming out,
your car,
guns blazing, telling me he needs to check my trunk for any illegals in it.
Near the beaches during tourist times.
You don't trust me checking people's trunks?
I
Come on.
don't think they should be allowed to do that.
I don't like it.
Like I don't like them just being like, nope, we're gonna stop everybody, and if we feel like it, we can search your car.
There could be a dead hooker in that trunk. Who knows?
Yeah.
There's not a dead hooker in the trunk.
Yes, it was.
No, you're right though. That is getting to the point where it's a little too far because that's beyond encroachment, you know. And
there's a reason that states like my state, they've got little signs that say, "Hey, if you see somebody that you think is a drunk driver, call this number.
Yeah,
we'll be there. We'll pull them over because somebody thought that they were drunk. We now have probable cause to pull them over. They're not just pulling everybody over." Like, that's something I have a massive problem with. And I'm always like, nah, you've instigated martial law in this tiny little stretch of land where you've decided that you reign supreme. And I don't like that.
Pretty much, yeah.
But so then are you okay with Marines and National Guard being sent into LA?
Under riots? Yeah. No, people are rioting.
Isaac, you find that acceptable?
Under what circumstances? These circumstances,
the current
yes.
ones we are in.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that. Yeah.
Cornboy, Marines,
probable
National
cause.
Guard?
We're being invaded by a foreign army.
That's military, and it's a foreign nation's like military age fighting men.
Yep, and the leader of that nation, the Jewish lady that runs Mexico, she said keep doing it. So. And we have military age males doing
Jewish, Isaac.
I skipped that. Yeah, well, it's a little weird.
It's interesting when it's a 98% Catholic nation, and all her opponents
shining bomber. Yeah, so, and the government is the cartel. Yeah.
When a foreign nation is telling their people that are in your country illegally to riot and cause destruction and harm to our citizens, activate the military and kick their ass. Yeah.
So that was because they're putting one
remittances,
3%, 1.5%, 3.5%. Well, yeah, 3.5% remittance tax, which everyone is like, why don't we just do like 50 to 100% remittance taxes?
Yeah, that would be the good move to make.
35 at least.
So Eric Schmidt, he had a bill coming up for no, let's actually make it 15%, and I was like, that number is going higher, and all the congressmen are saying, oh yeah, let's get that number higher. So all of it's going to backfire. All the stuff we want, the Democrats literally just gave the Republicans to do whatever the hell they want at this point. I think it's going to backfire. They desperately are going to need that false flag to try to win all the idiots and the bleeding hearts to their side. But I don't think it's going to work these days. They're false flags. They're with the assassination attempts and whatnot. Every single time, even if we don't get down to the hard evidence of this is clearly a false flag, we don't believe anything these days. No. Well, of course, Grandpa believes every AI video he sees on Facebook. But for the most part, we don't get suckered by that stuff anymore. So I don't think they're going to pull it off. This is going to hugely backfire as long as Trump just has that strong grip on the wheel. But he does have to be a little careful and does have to think a bit about some optics. But it should be easy mode. He's got his public sentiment on his side fully.
Yeah, and getting his message out there has never been easier. So his narrative is being set very easily.
But why do you think Hillary Clinton's never been arrested? He makes the justification. It's a former first lady. I may not agree with his justification, but he says he does it to, for optics and stuff, and I think it's a similar situation here. He's a cautious fellow, with the hand of the law and stuff. And I would have gone harder probably on that stuff. So
just as a real quick update. Yo Pops has now seemingly positioned himself behind the police line. So if you look now, right what you're seeing right here, that's where one of the police lines is at. So he's, and now it's frozen, of course, but so he's seemingly positioned himself behind the police line. And there's still not anything crazy happening, but like I said, him and a bunch of other people are behind the police line.
Good. And now do this with all the other states and cities where this is going to happen, or else it's going to spread throughout the entire freaking country. Isaac, I threw something in private chat.
I got it. Yep.
Maxine Waters. She did attempt number 2 of breaking into a government facility for an inspection tour. And this one went arguably even more hilariously than the first one. It's a minute long. I apologize. You'll have to see Maxine Waters, but roll the clip.
No, I want you to. Hello, hello, hello. Congresswoman
God.
Waters, I just came to use my congressional authority to check on
So
them.
out of breath.
Excuse me, I need to get in.
She walked up like
I need
8
to get in.
Here we go.
Door slammed in her face.
What are you
Got
hoping
her.
to do,
Oh, you love
Congressman?
that
I
guy.
just want to see David Werta. Right.
All right.
Where is Maximus BT's feet when you need him? Something to balance.
She looks more like an alien than any of the illegal aliens out there right now.
And that was because one of the like SEIU heads or whatever it was, one of the union heads got arrested because he was, they just want to watch cars burn. Well, he just watched ICE agents stuck in a parking garage. I think there's twice now they've had him caught in a parking garage. He was just hanging out watching them, being a terrorist, and they arrested him. So now they're making a big stank. That's who they're currently trying to make their martyr, is the union head guy. He was just trying to watch some ICE agents be violently held within a parking garage. What's the problem, guys?
Yeah, it's not like they were hurt or scared or delayed from doing their job. No.
Not
They
whatsoever.
were free to go about their business.
Rossi! Well, sadly, enjoy us while we're here because we're actually about to go. Hayden, what you got going on tomorrow, homie?
So tomorrow I've got late and
SEIU?
gay with the GCA. And other than that, I'm just gonna be hanging out. So yeah, just catch me over there.
Catch me outside. I finally started playing Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I played to the Grammage or whatever.
Grammage.
Holy crap, dude. Like 15 minutes knowing the characters. That was pulling my heartstrings.
Just wait. Because as the game keeps going,
Okay.
you have more and more moments that you go, oh, what is
I'm
happening?
not crying on camera. You're crying on camera.
Yeah. There's a reason I don't play the game on camera.
It's the tear gas. The tear gas got me. Isaac, are you crying because from the tear gas?
Has
I'm
to be.
crying from tears of joy watching this footage in LA. Justice being served, man.
Oh, wait, jump over to the Yo Pops footage that I've got here. There's a massive police showing.
Good. I hope they do a great job.
We're skipping right now, but they had closed off a couple of streets there for a little bit.
I feel such whiplash. 2020, I was like, these cops suck. I don't want to wear a face mask. Now it's like, I love the cops again. Kick them out.
Yeah.
It's like,
So that
what the
street,
heck?
they just did a shift change where they let more cops come up onto the street, and then they had a bunch of other cops leave. So the lockdown is in full effect. And
All right, well, curfews, people are still there, but hey, at least they're not currently
this is
riding.
not the curfew area, though.
Oh,
The
yeah,
curfew
of course,
is only
yeah.
downtown LA.
Santa
This is-
Monica
this
or
is
whatever.
Santa
Okay,
Monica. Yeah.
Excellent. Isaac, when are your streams these days? Do you just streaming every day at this point? What's going on?
no, I've just been doing extra stuff because of the riots. But our scheduled stream, I do a few videos throughout the week too. But our scheduled stream Monday night, the Golden Age podcast at 8 p.m. Eastern with this guy over here too, and we have guests on. I just want to say, little announcement.
Erwin, pull up the video.
I have a couple massive guests scheduled to come up, so stay tuned. A lot of big stuff happening. We're in the culture war. So. What's Yo Pops up to?
I don't know. I'm trying to pull it up. There we go. I was getting yarded.
This is a whole separate police force that is now marching toward the intersection that we were looking at just a moment ago. I'm not sure what's going on, but Yo Pops is caught on the opposite side.
Dance
and
battle,
I think it's because a lot of people, it seems like it's because a lot of people got behind the police line that was there. And now they have a new police line forming behind them. A bunch of people have left the area that Yo Pops is in right now.
Who are they going up against, though? Are there
that's a great question, but I don't know. I've been trying to keep an eye on it. He just got here recently.
They forgot all their like trombones and bass drums and the hats with the big feathers.
I know. There's no band. I'm very upset about it. But they are marching together and pushing the line forward.
Cornboy, anything you want to plug other than Isaac Streams?
No, just on the stream, and follow me on Twitter if you like.
Excellent. Absolute pleasure having you all here. Shout out to Yo Pops. If you haven't subscribed, Yo Pops
go sub to Yo Pop
15. Make sure you give him some support. He is popping off, and I'm so dang proud of him. Get up off your butt and magic happens. I even heard Jeremy was like, should we make him the on the ground reporter for CobraCast? And I'm like, yes.
Well, listen,
Get him a helmet at least.
Jeremy, Kirsha, and Yellow Flash were all showing his stream the other night. It was incredible.
Yeah.
So check them out. Go watch Yo Pops.
There you go. I just threw it in the chat there. Oh, I'm not a mod here. Go.
No. Wait, you're not a mod? I'll fix that.
It didn't come in as a mod. I was a mod. Oh, I threw it in Yo Pop's chat.
Wait, you linked Yo Pops in Yo Pops.
I linked Yo Pops in Yo Pop's chat. Hang on. Let me remedy this situation. I've been watching his stream all night.
So in this time of Civil War, I think we could all use a little Sydney Sweeney in our lives. So let's outro with some Sydney Sweeney. I'll go through about half of it. Thank you all. Appreciate y'all your support. I'll be on Batters tomorrow, and then Thursday, make sure you come check out some Open Bar pregame. Bye, guys.